a story about a boy named Matthew, who liked to ski. He grew up in New Hampshire and ran cross country and track in high school. But he was really passionate about an AmeriCorps program. When he graduated from high school, he joined and served for 10 months in Boston in a program called City Year for 17 to 24-year-olds, where he taught an HIV and AIDS curriculum. Then he went to Northeastern University, where he studied nursing and minored in Spanish. And he went on a lot of clinicals and worked a lot of co-ops all over the city. He graduated and joined the Peace Corps, where he met all these great people. They were health volunteers and environment volunteers. That's him, Matthew. He lived in Peru from 2005 to 2007.
This is my Peace Corps site. I live in the Department of La Libertad in Peru, in a small caserío, which is known as a village. And the name of this village is called Carata. We wanted to show you guys a little bit of what my town is like. Over here we have the school. This is a public school for primary and secondary students. It goes up to high school, but in Peru, high school finishes at 11th grade. Over here we have the health post. This is where I'm working most of the time. I work as a public health nurse. ¿Qué hace el jabón?
Ya no lo bañaba la mamá por estar de trabajo, porque han estado delicadas con la gripe. Hace mal. Esto está mal. Mucha fiebre. Sí, mucha fiebre. Por eso le digo, no le bañes porque peor le está bronco.
Matt recognized he came from privilege and acknowledged many things made him different than others.
Yo soy Juan, sí. Les presento a algunas más personas, ¿no? This is Johnny, who is the nephew of Juan. And let's look a little bit more at the rest of the house. This is what we call our patio. There's 2 spare bedrooms here.
¿Dónde estamos, Mateo? ¿Y qué están haciendo?
Whoa. No, that's not the story I wanted to tell you. That was me 16 years ago. My name is Matt Lindsley, and I want to tell you a story, an even better story. A story about 2 men who buy a farm. That's the story you should really know.
Matt met Brian, and within a couple of years, they bought a farm in Pennsylvania. And they began farming. They didn't know anything about farming, so they watched a lot of videos on YouTube and read a lot, but eventually, they got better. It took time. They had a couple rough seasons, but they learned how to grow vegetables, and they wanted to eat their own food. But what would a farm be without animals? So they got goats, and those goats had more goats. And they raised bees, honeybees. You see, Matt was an MSN and PhD student at Johns Hopkins, and he was fascinated with food production, the food system. Why were bees so important? What is farming, and why do some farms grow vegetables and others grow different crops? And how do you grow crops? And what's fertilizer? And what's that, a tomato plant? Yeah, let's grow tomatoes this year.
I'm just literally just.
And so they kept growing, and they kept learning. And they learned that most of our food doesn't even come from around here. It's brought in from overseas. Why is that? They learned how to grow big crops like corn and soybeans. But then they realized that maybe that's not so great. Maybe we should focus on our own vegetables. Crops that's Swiss chard right there. Yep. Ooh. And broccoli. And they gave away a lot of their food. They didn't sell it. They just taught others how to grow. They wanted to become experts in growing their own food, preparing meals, and they had friends over, lots of friends, who really enjoyed the farm and feeding the goats. Did I mention they had baby goats? Oh yeah, they did. The farm continued over the years, and Matt learned more about occupational and environmental health, pesticide usage, and composting. Brian and him began preserving their own harvests by canning, freezing, and dehydrating, and eating their food for dinner. But mostly, they realized that what they had was really unique, rare actually, because most Americans don't understand our industrialized food system and the problems that exist that affect our health. The food system needs to change in a big way. Oh, no, sorry, stop again, stop. No, that's not the story either. That's not the story I want to tell you. The story I really want to tell you is this story. Listen.
Lieutenant Matthew Lindsley. Lieutenant Mary Kyrie. Lieutenant
The United States Public Health Service Commission Corps. Our motto is In Officio Salutis, which means in the service of health. We're all commissioned officers, that is to say, we joined by achieving a rank before officially assuming our role. Our rank is based on our education and the number of years of experience we have. There are no enlisted service members in our branch. We're part of the Department of Health and Human Services, led by the Assistant Secretary of Health, with operations and activities overseen by the Surgeon General and Deputy Surgeon General. While we were established in 1889, our history goes back even further, to 1798. Seen on the slide are other important dates from our history, like the Parker Act in 1930. Who is the Public Health Service? We're one of 8 uniformed services, and there are approximately 6,000 of us, inspired by the call to serve vulnerable and underserved communities through addressing public health issues. Our mission is to protect, promote, and advance the health and safety of the nation. And we have 4 core values: leadership, service, integrity, and excellence. So what do officers actually do? Some work in direct clinical positions on a daily basis. We serve on the front line of public health emergencies and for humanitarian missions. Some officers work in program management, others in policy development, and some work in research. There are many benefits in the public health service. mobility, both physically and in your career path. You can train in a specific area of expertise with flexibility to shift to other sectors in public health. The GI Bill is available if you choose to go back to school, or you can give it to one of your dependents, and there are generous retirement benefits. The Commission Corps currently has a presence in more than 800 locations, including all 50 states and numerous foreign assignments such as the World Health Organization and World Bank. Some of our agencies are CDC, CMS, FDA, HRSA, IHS, NIH, SAMHSA. It's just a few, but there are many more like ACF, AHRQ, CMS, EPA, NOAA. But note that there are contingencies associated with each of these assignments at the state and local agencies. There are 11 professional categories. You do not have to be a clinician to join the Public Health Service. Applicants with a master's in public health can apply to the Health Services category, and those with doctoral degrees as a scientist. There's also a junior and senior co-step program for students. So let's talk about our readiness and deployment, because this is what makes us unique, our ability to deploy. Unlike a civilian career where you may volunteer to serve in your community, we deploy throughout the year. Most of our deployments are between 30 to 45 days, although that may be shorter or longer. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we have deployed over 4,500 officers, more than 200,000 deployment days, and officers have helped on the front lines, serving in many roles, such as leadership, operations, screening, quarantine, case management, and human services and vaccine administration. You should consider the Public Health Service. It's been a great career for me. As stated, there is plenty of career growth potential, financial incentives, and a work-life balance. Take a look at our website. It's usphs.gov. We offer additional benefits, including comprehensive, low-cost medical, dental, and vision care. There is the ability to transfer from civil service or another uniformed service. But there are some specific criteria as well. Take a look at your eligibility on our website. If you're thinking to yourself right now, this sounds like an amazing opportunity, but I really can't commit to full-time active duty, you should consider the Ready Reserve Corps, which in 2020 under the CARES Act established a reserve component of the Public Health Service, and these officers help fill critical public health needs and support commissioned officers' capacity to respond to regional, national, and global health emergencies and improve access to health services. It enables access to highly specialized skill sets that would be impractical in full-time active duty positions. I hope you'll consider the Public Health Service. Thank you. I'm expected to maintain my physical fitness in the Public Health Service, which is not a big deal because I'd be doing it anyway. And I still think about food and the food system. Look at these empty shelves. And these sweet potatoes, where did they come from anyway? We could grow sweet potatoes on our farm. You see, I'm so fascinated by the broken food system that I want to do something about it in a big way. I want this to become part of my career. I don't just want to be a nurse and a farmer. So I decided I would go back to school. I'd pursue a DRPH to study the environment and agriculture and climate change and how it affects our health,
but not forgetting I'm a public health nurse and I live in rural Pennsylvania. See, I learned that I could do it all. I could do all three of these things at the same time, because that's what's important to me in life. And that's what you should really consider. You should consider doing as much as you can in your career. All of these things together make us public health professionals.
Your story is important. How will you tell it? That's how we began this TED Talk. There are many different ways you can tell your story. The important thing is that you bring all of yourself, 100% of your history into your career. We have varied interests. As you can tell, I started as a public health nurse in Peru, and my career shifted. I became interested in farming, and now my goal is, through the Public Health Service, to do all of those things, all at once. I haven't gotten there. I'm not done. I have a lot more to live in this life, but I'm not going to sacrifice just being a nurse or stop being a nurse to become a farmer. I think that public health is so all-encompassing and fascinating that why not incorporate it into the same career? And that's the beauty of PHS, is that I can push towards that. That's my goal. It's different though. You know, there aren't many nurses that do this type of food production work. I don't have a model or many mentors within the nursing field, but I want to be a change agent. I want to pave the road for a whole new generation, because if I don't start, if I don't try, then there's no real goal, right? There's no world that I want to live in where I can't have those opportunities. So I want to be an example for others, to break down silos, to work across the table. We have a lot of work to do out there, but we're not going to make much progress if we think about things in the old traditional way. I hope you enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll be back in a couple of years to do another TED Talk and describe to you what I'm doing in my current role. Thank you.